When Signs hit theaters in 2002, audiences expected an alien invasion. They got something quieter, stranger, far more unsettling. Director M. Night Shyamalan didn't give them spectacle. He gave them silence, shadows, and something watching from the corn. The clues were planted everywhere. In reflections, in water, in a little girl's strange habit, and a washed-up baseball player's biggest regret. These are 20 hidden details you completely missed in Signs. Number 1. Most viewers remember the crop circle reveal, the overhead shot, the eerie symmetry carved into Graham Hess's cornfield, but rewind to the very beginning before the family even knows what's happening. As the camera glides through the stalks in the opening sequence, there's movement between the rows, a faint humanoid silhouette, tall, still, watching. It's there for less than 2 seconds. Most people miss it entirely because they're focused on the landscape, the music, the slow build of dread. But Shyamalan put the threat on screen immediately. The alien wasn't hiding. It was standing in plain sight. The invasion had already begun, and the family, the audience, everyone, they just didn't see it yet, because sometimes the most terrifying thing isn't what's coming, it's what's already arrived. Number 2, Bo leaves glasses of water everywhere. On tables, counters, windowsills. Her family treats it like a quirk, a phase, something harmless and strange. Graham sighs, Merrill jokes, Morgan rolls his eyes. But Shyamalan wasn't building character, he was building a weapon. Every glass Bo abandons is another round of ammunition scattered throughout the house. The film telegraphs this obsession over and over, making it feel mundane, irritating even. And that's the genius. By the time the alien breaks into the living room, the water isn't just there by coincidence. It's been strategically placed for an hour and a half. A child's unexplained compulsion becomes the key to survival. Chekhov's gun doesn't always hang on a wall. Sometimes it sits half drunk on a coffee table. And in Signs, it saved the world. Number 3, look closely at the aerial shot of the crop circle. The pattern isn't random, it's a map. The large outer ring mirrors the perimeter of the Hess property. The inner formations align with the house, the barn, the driveway. Shyamalan designed it that way deliberately. The invaders weren't just leaving symbols, they were scouting, marking territory, studying the family's movements before they ever made contact. It suggests something chilling. The aliens had been watching the Hess family long before the story begins. They knew the layout, they knew the weak points, and when the attack finally came, it wasn't improvised. It was surgical. The crop circle wasn't a message to humanity, it was a blueprint, and the family had been living inside the target zone all along. Number 4, Shyamalan hides visual reflections everywhere in Signs. Mirrors, windows, TV screens, toasters, even doorknobs. Sometimes they're subtle, background details that flicker past unnoticed. Other times they're framed deliberately, lingering just long enough to unsettle. It's not accidental, it's symbolic. The entire film is built around duality, belief versus disbelief, faith versus fear, what's seen versus what's unseen. Every reflection reinforces that theme. Graham sees himself in the glass, but he doesn't recognize the man staring back. He's lost his collar, his faith, his center, and the reflections keep reminding him of that fracture. Even the aliens appear first in reflections, in the TV screen during the birthday party footage, in the pantry door's glass pane. Shyamalan built a visual language around mirrors, because in Signs, the truth isn't always in front of you. Sometimes it's behind you, watching. Number 5, the pantry scene is one of the most terrifying moments in the film. Merrill and Graham stand frozen. The alien hand slips under the door, fingers probing, searching. The camera drops low, shaky, almost predatory, and that's the point. Shyamalan shot the scene from the creature's perspective. Low angle, unsteady, invasive. It's not a human point of view, it's something else entirely. Something studying, hunting. The audience isn't watching the scene unfold. They're inside it, looking through the alien's eyes, feeling its curiosity, its hunger. The technique flips the dynamic. For a moment, you're not Graham Hess standing in the kitchen. You're the thing trying to get in. And once you realize that, the scene stops being scary. It becomes something worse. It becomes intimate. Number 6, Merrill Hess was a minor league legend. Not for his talent, for his failure. He holds the record for most strikeouts in a single season. The family jokes about it. The news clippings on the wall memorialize it. Graham mentions it with affection and pity. But Shyamalan planted that detail for a reason. Merrill didn't just swing and miss. He swung at everything. He couldn't stop himself. It was instinct, reflex, a flaw that ended his career. And in the final act, that same flaw saves his family. When the alien corners Morgan, Merrill doesn't hesitate. He swings again, again, again. The bat connects with the water glasses. The alien burns, and the man who couldn't stop swinging finally hits the one pitch that mattered. The movie tells you the ending in the first 20 minutes. Number 7, Colleen Hess passes in the opening minutes, hit by a car, pinned against a tree, barely conscious, and in her final moments, she delivers 3 messages, one for each member of her family. To Morgan, see? To Bo, listen, and to Merrill, swing away. At the time, they sound like comforting nonsense. Dying words meant to ease the pain, but Shyamalan wrote them as prophecy. Morgan sees the alien's weakness, Bo listens to the signs around her, Merrill swings the bat. Every word Colleen spoke becomes the key to survival. Graham dismisses them as coincidence, random, meaningless, but by the end, he understands. They weren't her last words, they were instructions, a message from beyond, and the moment Graham accepts that, his faith doesn't just return, it explodes. Because sometimes the universe doesn't speak in thunder, it speaks in dying breaths, and you either listen or you lose everything. Number 8, Ray Reddy. The man who killed Graham's wife lives alone, and his house is a shrine to guilt. The wallpaper is covered in circular shapes resembling crop circles. The cabinets are arranged to form the image of an eye watching the hallway. Shyamalan built the entire house around the theme of surveillance, of being watched, of penance. Ray isn't just haunted by what he did, he's surrounded by it. The circles echo the alien markings. The eye suggests constant observation, judgment. Even the way light filters through the windows feels deliberate, casting shadows that look like bars. Ray lives in a prison of his own design, and when Graham confronts him, the space itself reinforces the weight of what happened. Shyamalan didn't need dialogue to show Ray's torment, he just needed set design. Because in Signs, guilt doesn't live in words, it lives in walls. Number 9, the creatures in Signs don't just invade, they observe, they test, they flank like soldiers. Watch the basement scene closely. The alien doesn't charge, it taps, it breathes, it paces, it moves like something studying prey, not attacking it. The creatures mimic animal hunting behavior, patience, strategy, intimidation. They don't rely on brute force, they use psychology, and that makes them more terrifying than any CGI monster, because these aren't sci-fi aliens, they're predators, and predators don't roar, they wait, they circle, they learn your patterns, and when the moment is right, they strike. Shyamalan stripped away the spectacle and gave us something primal, something that feels real, because the scariest thing in the universe isn't a laser or a spaceship, it's something smarter than you, watching, waiting, learning. Number 10, every time the aliens get closer, the radio interference grows louder. It's not random, it's a pattern, a proximity alert. Shyamalan uses sound design to telegraph danger before it arrives. The static crackles, the signal distorts, and the family knows something is coming. It's an early sign buried in the film's first act that the creatures are using frequency-based communication. The radios aren't picking up noise, they're picking up the enemy, and once you notice it, you can't unhear it. The static becomes a countdown, a warning system, a technological breadcrumb trail leading straight to the basement. The interference grows strongest right before an encounter, giving the family mere seconds to react. Because in Signs, silence isn't safety, static is, and the moment it stops, you should already be running. Number 11, the baby monitor crackles throughout the film. Strange voices, clicks, whispers. The family assumes it's interference, crossed signals from a neighbor's device, but Shyamalan confirmed the truth years later. The monitor wasn't picking up chatter, it was detecting the alien's short-range transmissions. A household object becomes military tech. The device that once soothed a crying baby now broadcasts the presence of an invader, and the family never realizes it until it's too late. The monitor sits on the counter, innocent, ignored, while the creatures communicate right through it. It's a brilliant detail, subtle, unspoken, never explained in dialogue, just there, waiting for viewers to connect the dots. Because in Signs, the tools meant to protect you are the same ones that betray you. Number 12, the pharmacy scene feels uncomfortably real. Graham fumbles through small talk with the pharmacist. He adds nervous jokes, awkward pacing, and soft repetitions of, okay, under his breath. None of it was scripted. Mel Gibson improvised roughly 80% of the dialogue. Shyamalan gave him one direction: play a man who hasn't had a normal conversation in months. Gibson delivered exactly that: anxious, disconnected, and lost. A widower who's forgotten how to exist in public spaces. Every stumbling word, every forced smile, every pause that lasts a beat too long. It's a masterclass in subtle performance, and it makes the scene one of the most quietly devastating moments in the film, because Graham isn't just picking up asthma medication. He's confronting how broken he's become. Number 13. During the gas mask sequence, when Morgan struggles to breathe, there's a faint rhythmic thump beneath the score. Most viewers don't notice it. It's buried in the mix, barely audible, but it's there. Morgan's heartbeat synced to the rising tension. Shyamalan and his sound designer embedded it as a subliminal panic cue. Your brain registers the rhythm even if you don't consciously hear it, and it makes the scene unbearable because you're not just watching a boy suffocate, you're feeling his pulse, racing, weakening, fighting. It's one of the most brilliant sound design choices in the film. Invisible, unspoken, devastating. And when the heartbeat finally slows, when Morgan collapses and the sound fades, the silence that follows is deafening. Because in Signs, Shyamalan doesn't just show you fear, he makes you hear it. Number 14. The alien silhouette that appears behind Graham and Merrill during the basement standoff wasn't CGI. It wasn't a puppet. It was a crew member wearing extended arm prosthetics. Shyamalan insisted on practical effects for that moment. He said a human shadow was scarier than a digital one. And he was right. There's something uncanny about the movement, the way the arms extend, the way the figure shifts. It's real, tangible, and that makes it worse because your brain recognizes it as organic, not rendered, not animated, alive. The prosthetics allowed for unnatural proportions without losing the weight and presence of a physical body. And when the shadow moves, when it reaches toward the camera, the terror is primal because it's not a special effect. It's a person, distorted but real, and Shyamalan knew that nightmares don't need pixels. They just need presence. Number 15. Fans have spent years analyzing the crop circle formations, and some noticed something strange. The patterns resemble broken Morse code sequences. Shyamalan never confirmed it, but the theory persists. When translated loosely, the formations spell out words like watch, wait, and surround. It fits the alien's slow encirclement strategy, the patience, the surveillance, the deliberate pacing of the invasion. Whether intentional or not, the detail adds another layer to the film's paranoia, because if the crop circles are language, then the aliens weren't just scouting, they were communicating, coordinating, preparing, and the Hess family was living inside the message the entire time, surrounded by warnings they couldn't read, walking through a battlefield they didn't know existed. Because in Signs, the truth isn't always hidden. Sometimes it's carved into the earth, and you just need the right code to see it. Number 16. Inside Ray's truck, you can spot rosary beads hanging from the rearview mirror, a small crucifix tucked near the dashboard, a faded holy card wedged into the visor. These weren't random props. They were hand-placed by Shyamalan to reveal Ray's emotional state without dialogue. Ray caused the accident that destroyed Graham's faith, and the guilt has been eating him alive ever since. He surrounds himself with constant reminders of forgiveness, penance, and judgment, as if he's building a shrine inside his own vehicle, hoping for absolution, fearing damnation. It turns the truck into a symbol of Ray's internal prison, a man desperately clinging to religion while fearing he'll never be forgiven. And when Graham finally confronts him, the weight of those symbols becomes unbearable. Number 17. Merrill Hess was a minor league legend, not for his talent, for his failure. He holds the record for most strikeouts in a single season, but Shyamalan planted that detail for a reason. Merrill didn't just swing and miss, he swung at everything. He couldn't stop himself. Joaquin Phoenix built that nervous energy from real baseball players. He studied interviews of major leaguers who burned out early in their careers, mimicking their stuttering answers, fidgeting hands, and restless pacing. That jittery energy becomes Merrill's personality, a man whose body still believes he's in the batter's box. And in the final act, that same flaw saves his family. When the alien corners Morgan, Merrill doesn't hesitate. He swings. Again, again, again. The bat connects with the water glasses, the alien burns, and the man who couldn't stop swinging finally hits the one pitch that mattered. The movie tells you the ending in the first 20 minutes. Number 18. The basement attack scene is chaos. The door shakes. The family screams. They scramble to hold it shut, and none of it was scripted. Shyamalan didn't give the cast any choreographed reactions. He simply told them to fight for their lives and rolled the camera. Instead of rehearsing beats or timing the impacts, he let the sound crew slam the door, shake the set, and kill the lights at unpredictable moments. The cast had no idea what was coming next, so their scrambling, shouting, and frantic movements are pure improvisation. Joaquin Phoenix clutching the handle, Rory Culkin bracing against the wall, Abigail Breslin wide-eyed and terrified. That raw chaos is why the scene feels so real. It wasn't acted, it was survived. And Shyamalan captured it, because sometimes the best direction isn't a script, it's fear. Real, unscripted, and impossible to fake. Number 19. The movie starts with a house awakening to danger, birds screaming, footsteps in the hall, fear creeping through the windows, and it ends with a house embracing peace again. The same rooms, the same light, but transformed. The cycle of fear to belief to resolution is mirrored perfectly. Shyamalan framed the final shot to echo the opening, same camera angle, same gentle push through the doorway, but the tone has shifted. Where the beginning felt eerie and unsettling, the ending feels warm, earned, complete. It's visual storytelling at its finest. The house hasn't changed, the family has. And that symmetry, that circular structure, it reinforces the film's central message. That faith isn't about avoiding the storm, it's about walking through it and coming out the other side, still standing, still believing, still home. Number 20. When Graham steps back into his priest uniform, the lighting warms for the first time in the movie. Everything before this moment was lit cold, blue, and lifeless. Shyamalan designed the color palette to reflect Graham's crisis of faith, sterile, empty, detached. But in the final shot, as Graham fastens his collar, the light shifts, golden, soft, alive. It's subtle. Most viewers don't consciously notice it, but your brain does. The warmth returns, the color saturates, and suddenly the world feels different. Because Graham isn't the same man who took off that collar. He's been broken, tested, and rebuilt, and the light doesn't just return, it floods the frame, washing away the cold, the doubt, the grief. And in that one quiet moment, without a single word of dialogue, Shyamalan shows you everything. Faith restored, not through proof, but through surrender, and the light finally comes back on. 20 years later, Signs remains one of the most quietly terrifying alien films ever made, not because of what it shows, but because of what it hides. Packed with coded clues, visual symmetry, and tiny moments you'll never unsee, M. Night Shyamalan didn't just make a movie about aliens. He made a film about faith, fear, and the patterns we miss until it's too late. Every reflection, every glass of water, every dying word, they were all there, waiting. If this one still haunts you, drop a comment. Tell us which hidden detail shocked you the most. Thanks for watching.